The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
and so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
It's a huge burden lifted financially, and so it allows you to give singular focus to your child. I've never known a hospital that takes care of their patients so thoroughly.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Good morning to you, one and all of you liberty lovers and ecclesiastites all across the globe. It is I, your lovable host, Rod, coming to you live this Tuesday morning. Tuesday, September number 12 in the year of our Lord 2017. The call-in action hotline. I know I keep changing the name of it because I don't know what to call it yet. The call-in action hotline is 603-835-3226. That is a number that you can utilize on a daily basis here for this program. September 12th already. Can you believe it? It is almost the middle of September. But there are a lot of kids who are not in school. A lot of kids in Texas and Florida and in other parts. Before we got a lot of stuff today. A lot of stuff to cover. I know. I saw it this morning. I saw the trending of Ted Cruz on Twitter. Well, it just goes to show that Ted Cruz is a human being. He's not a robot. Or an alien. Well, I don't know. Maybe aliens can do the same thing. But he's definitely not a robot, as some have suggested during the campaign. There's also this whole notion about Hurricane Irma and how they continue to lie about it. Even the Pope is jumping in. The Catholic Pope is jumping in on this. Basically what the Pope is saying, if after Irma, you're a climate denier, you're an idiot. That's what the Pope is saying. So I guess now the Catholic Pope, the leader of the Holy Universal Roman Church, believes that Hurricane Irma happened because of man-made climate change. Well, that's what he's out there saying, that if you disbelieve man-made climate change, then you're a fool because of Irma. So I don't know how else to take that. And we've got this. This is also a pope that has tried to, shall we say, mend fences with Islam. Now, we've been warned about this if you want to get really, really, really religious. The Bible warned us about this very thing. It warned us about a number. Well, it warned us about a number of things. One including Good would be called evil and evil would be called good. We're in the middle of that right now. We were told that heretics and false prophets and false preachers would come about and preach unity, false unity. Now, frankly, that's what the current Pope is preaching. A false unity with you can't look. The Bible is very clear about the house of Abraham being divided forever, basically, and that would be the Jew and the Arab. They're always going to be at each other's throat. Just saying. The Bible is pretty clear about that kind of stuff happening. And anybody who thinks that they can stop that kind of thing, they're only human beings. That's ridiculous. Human beings cannot defeat supernatural, non-human being issues. We don't know what's going on in other worlds, as one might say. But I got a story here also about getting into Hurricane Irma a little bit. Well, first of all, let me just say it's no longer a hurricane, and I love it when these people are reporting on this, trying to make the drama last as long as possible. Hurricane Irma has gone up into Georgia. No. Hurricane Irma did not go up into Georgia. The storm was downgraded to a tropical storm before it got into Georgia. So therefore, it's not a hurricane. We got to get... it's one thing if you and I, who are just laymen out there, misspeak. It's another thing if those who are charged with giving us facts in the news misspeak. Now, folks, make no mistake about it. This is not an accident. And you may think, well, Rod, that's just semantics. It's not semantics. When it comes to giving you the truth and telling you the facts, it's not semantics. And the reason is because, there are a few quote-unquote conversations I'm having on Twitter with some really dull, dim-witted people who don't fully understand the meaning behind illegal when it comes to illegal immigration. The reason why people are illegal is because if they register to be legal, 97% of them get shipped back from where they came. Well, that's the whole point. You don't come here illegally. You don't go into any country illegally because most likely you're going to get sent back. And this whole notion that if you don't register, you're not really hiding, then what do you call it? You can be hiding in a back alley, or you could be hiding in plain sight, but if you're not following the law, then you're hiding, trying to hide from the law, plain and simple. I don't fully understand, what it is or what meanings that you're trying to bring about by saying that if they don't register, they're not really hiding, Rod. They're in plain sight. You can find them. Well, evidently we can't. Well, according to some people, also Fox News is full of racist, and the reason why they're racist now is because they're talking about and condemning looters during Hurricane Irma. And as I mentioned yesterday, the very fact that the vast majority of the looters happen to be inner city black people. Not all of them, but the majority of them. And to mention looters is now racist. Well, what does that make me? Oh, brother, you self-loathing. You hate yourself. That's right. This is way beyond out of hand. This is way beyond out of hand, folks. I got to tell you, sometimes I sit here in the Freedom Throne behind the Freedom Mic, here in the Bunkerized studio, and I wonder, what the hell am I doing? Because there are some days when I read these stories and I do the show prep, and I just sit there here at the desk with my head in my hands, shaking my head. And I wonder if any of us in broadcasting are making any positive differences. And I'm talking about, the big talking heads too. Because we constantly, every single day, have to beat our heads up against a brick wall like this. Every single day. Without stop, without fail, without hesitation. It is a constant barrage on our sensibilities and our logic center. It makes absolutely no sense. I mean, how evil must evil be in order to be as evil as it is? I know there are people in Rush Limbaugh's Rio Linda that did not understand that statement at all. Well, let me explain. How evil do you have to be in order to be this evil every day? Knowing that you're telling a bunch of lies just to make your political point. That's all this is. I mean, how do you honestly with a straight face, say that reporting the news as it happens is racist simply because most of the people involved are black? How do you do that? Just so you can advance some sort of political agenda? You mean to tell me that your political agenda cannot be advanced by telling the truth, being factual, being honest, and being fair? You've got to deceive in order to make your political point? You've got to lie and obfuscate the truth in order to make your political point, and you have to do this on a daily basis. And you do it with a straight face. And just looking at some of the Twitter trends and some of the Twitter responses to some of the posts I make over there is just the insanity. How evil do you have to be in order to try to say with a straight face that you're actually changing the meaning of words so it makes it sound like the one who's telling the truth is the liar, is the fake, is the racist, is the bigot, is the idiot? I mean, this enough is enough already. Now, I know some people are saying, well, Rod sounds like he's frustrated. No, it's not frustration. It's really not frustration. It's just the notion of sensibility in me that is being ripped apart, and not by people who are complicated either. Now, it's one thing if you're looking at some powerful people trying to get away with some vast conspiracy, sure, you can understand that. But I'm just talking everyday average simpletons. Rod, they're the soldiers out there for the big, vast, left-wing and right-wing conspiracies. No, they're not. If you want to say that people are being manipulated, they're only being manipulated because they allow themselves to be manipulated for their own selfish gains. You cannot tell me that they get out in front of people with a straight face and tell them lies and that they're being manipulated by somebody else. They know it's a lie. You're being manipulated when you repeat a lie and you don't know it's a lie. That's when you're manipulated. You're a manipulator, not a manipulatee, if you knowingly tell a lie with a straight face. And this is what I'm talking about. We have manipulators on a regular basis. Now, I just cannot believe that people are really this stupid, really. I know some people are. But this many people cannot be that stupid when it comes to leftist ideals and leftist, spewing the leftist propaganda. There cannot be that many stupid people that are that stupid. Now, you could say that I'm being a little naive in that humanity can really, 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 really be that stupid, Rod. Yeah, that might be. But I like to think that humanity is smarter and better than that these people really aren't. I know. I've talked to millennials. They drive me insane. I get it. Yes, they can really be ignorant about stuff. But honestly, do you think that the vast majority of them really are that stupid, or are they really, really becoming manipulators in order to get their way? I'm thinking it's the latter. Because there's no way in hell that you are a racist for reporting the news if the news is factual. And if the facts are that the vast majority of looting currently going on in Florida right now is being committed by inner city blacks, and that's not racist, that's reporting the news. I mean, this is. Oh! Hey, you reporting looters because they black and you racist. Okay, so, but when we catch white looters, and we bring that story to you, that's not being racist. That's no, Rod, that's challenging white supremacy. I can't deal. This is wow. You're listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
And now a message from our sponsor. Ladies, tired of drying your hair with the same old vacuum cleaner? Try Avon Shave brand new Beauty Locks portable hair dryer. It's smaller, it's faster, it's guaranteed to give you the hair you've always wanted in half the time. Beauty Locks is delicate and dainty, just like you. The dryer weighs only a pound and easily fits in your hand. Now that's beauty and convenience. With a speedy motor that will dry your hair in as little as 25 minutes, you can get gorgeous hair without falling behind schedule. Don't worry about the little ones or that pie in the oven. Thanks to an extra long extension cord, you can move around while primping your locks. Forget those long trips to the salon and no more waiting for hours under monster machines. Alvon Shea gives you an easy and speedy hairdo that will blow your man away. Get it now at your nearest Macy's.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told.
Evil is as evil does. I get it, and that's part of the liberal mantra, whether or not the liberal side actually admits it or not. Evil is as evil does is part of the mantra. And I was sent this story this morning about this next topic, and I went hunting for the back facts on it. Now, this is something that slipped through the crack. I didn't see this. Now, I can't see everything. You know, I may be superhuman, but I am still human. So I can't see everything. But seriously, this is a serious issue here. And again, it's something that you got to say, well, are these people really that stupid? Now, when it comes to Nancy Pelosi, I'm convinced that she has got a mental aging disorder. Because she's out there again, really, really, really screwing up. You know, you people in California have got to just get over it. Nancy Pelosi cannot represent you anymore. She really can't. She can't, folks. There's something wrong. We said the same thing about Hillary. Now we know that there's something wrong with Hillary because she's out there, on her book tour, or her blame game tour. And she's convinced, even though there's no, by the way, there's an article about her talking about this. She's convinced, even though that there's no evidence, that there was Trump-Russian collusion and that Donald Trump was the ringleader. Yeah, those are her words. She's convinced. No evidence whatsoever, but she's convinced. In any case, here we have in Texas, have we forgotten about Hurricane Harvey? Evidently we have, because we have Hurricane Irma. And Hurricane Irma was supposed to be the biggest, baddest hurricane in American history. Didn't even come close. But Harvey has been forgotten. Why has Harvey been forgotten about mostly? Well, because the response to Harvey has been 1,000% better than the response after Katrina. So there's nothing to blame Donald Trump on. Except for maybe causing Hurricane Irma in the first place. Yeah, it's Donald Trump's fault, Hurricane Irma, because, hey, after all, he withdrew from the Paris Agreement, which, by the way, would not have, everybody in the Paris Agreement who signed the Paris Agreement has acknowledged that it wouldn't have affected Hurricane Irma at all. But it's still Donald Trump's fault. But they're quoting that some 60 people lost their lives due to Hurricane Harvey. But there's a woman out there by the name of Amy Hagstrom Miller. She is the proprietor, if you will, of Whole Women's Health. Yes, you got it, an abortion clinic owner. Now, she is offering, for the month of September, for people affected by Hurricane Harvey, no-cost abortions. I kid you not. Now, folks, this is partly why I'm sitting here with my head in my hand, shaking my head. Who does this? During Hurricane Harvey, she says, many of the clinics in Houston had to close temporarily, leaving women with very few options. We can only imagine that a stressful time this must be for those patients who had to miss their appointments or are waiting for the nearest clinic to open so they can go and end their child's life. Yeah, that last part was not on their website and is not mentioned. I added that for emphasis. I mean, can you, well, so you miss your abortion appointment, and now they want to give you a free abortion.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm Hilary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
Three 835-3226. That is the call-in action hotline. Should you wish to utilize it, folks, this whole. First of all, let me just put it out there. I'm a pro-lifer, and I believe firmly that life begins at conception. But as a way of really proving the evilness of the left, I have been, quote unquote, willing to compromise by saying that, scientifically speaking, if life truly does end when there is no brain activity, i.e. brain dead, then life begins when there is brain activity, i.e. brain alive. And that happens, I do believe, towards the very end of the first trimester. So, therefore, you could say, if you were going to use this compromising position, by saying that it's a lump of cells until month number 3 of the pregnancy. At which case there is brain activity, thus a heartbeat. Well, there's a heartbeat before then, but there's brain activity, thus meaning scientifically now you have human life. And this just goes to show how the left is not willing to compromise at all on anything when it comes to abortion. It shows the evilness of the industry, and it is an industry. There's a hell of a lot of money being made. Do you realize that more people are killed in the abortion industry than in the coal industry? And we look what we do to the coal industry. We even politicians even threaten to end it. More people are killed from abortions every year than the coal industry every year. But they don't want to end abortion. They want to expand it. And so you have this woman, Amy Hagstrom Miller, who evidently owns Whole Woman's Health. I would never run around being that proud of something like that. Here she is. She's talking about, for those women who were, I guess Hurricane Harvey, the hurricane's name is Harvey, so that means Harvey's a male. So this male hurricane is trying to prevent a bunch of females from going around and doing what they want with their bodies and having an abortion. So Amy Hagstrom Miller and her Whole Woman's Health facilities, multiple, are going to hand out free abortions because of Harvey. Now, sure, you could say, well, she's doing it for no cost. Oh, that's a bunch of BS, because she's even being mentioned here. It's called free publicity, and it's also known that a lot of women are repeat customers. When it comes to, I didn't know this until I looked into it, but women who tend to have one abortion are more likely to have a second and third. So if they have their first one on her, their second and third is going to be on them. It's called having a loss leader. I mean, it's sick. It's absolutely sick. So you wonder how far evil and humanity can go. I realize that, Amy Hagstrom Miller is by no means as evil in most people's eyes as, say, an Adolf Hitler. But is she really not as evil as Adolf? Didn't Hitler do basically the same thing, eugenics? Isn't this what Amy Hagstrom Miller is in the middle of, is what she's trying to attempt to do? Whether or not she admits it, whether or not she even acknowledges it, whether or not she even really knows it, she's dipping her toe into the same cesspool as Hitler, as that wonderful woman, Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, did. It's the same cesspool. Now, Amy Hagstrom Miller may think that she's doing society a wonderful thing, and she may actually believe in her twisted mind that she's providing whole women's health. But she has dunked herself into this cesspool of eugenics. It's another kind of swamp. It's sick. It's disgusting. And in my book, it's pure evil. Pure evil. Now, I don't know who, anything about Amy Hagstrom Miller personally. I don't know what her personal life is like. I don't know what her business life is like. I can only go by what she does and says when it comes to her whole women's health clinics. And in my book, if you provide abortions, you are providing something that is evil. It is not about women's health because it is murdering an unborn child. Plain and simple. I know there are some people who are saying that, well, maybe some people... Well, no. We don't have the ability or the right to decide. I mean, I love it when the left gets really... Now, think about this for a second. You're a bad person, according to the left, if you decide to end your child's life because the child is going to be severely autistic or they have Down syndrome or something. How dare you get rid of your child that way? You should take care of this child. This is a loving thing to do. But if you don't know if your child is that way and you decide to end its life, well, then that's just woman's health. That's a woman's health issue. See, somehow you're a bad person if you try to end the life of a protected class. But certain protected classes can be eliminated. Black people. Look, we've had the stats that were put out that in some cities during some years in this century alone, in this century meaning 21st century. We've had in some American cities where there were more black babies aborted than born in certain years, but we're not supposed to mention that. That's a racist thought. Racist by who? By the person who's reporting the facts or by the abortion clinics that are actually doing the abortions? This is one of those things that has me looking at liberal people, at Democrats and liberals. And I'm not pointing fingers at them. I don't need to. The light of truth shines on them and they hide from it. They want to use all kinds of excuses in order to try to justify and explain their position. There is no justification for it. They cannot explain this away. Oh, it's women's health. It's not women's health, and they know it. But they utilize this term, women's health, as a way of getting what they want because they believe that the rest of us are too stupid to realize that they've changed the meaning of what women's health is. We haven't. And if we don't go along with them, then they'll take us to court, they'll sue us, they'll shout us down, they'll prevent us from. By the way, did you see? I think Ben Shapiro may actually get to speak out there at Berkeley. The headline is Berkeley braces for Shapiro. Now, isn't that terrible? You got the left out there that claims that they're so open-minded, so inclusive, so touchy-feely, flower child-like. Well, this country is being ensnared in. We're being kidnapped by the liberal left, by the alt-left. This country is being kidnapped by them. Because now, well, hey, there was a story yesterday that I mentioned about. Hey, they want to invade your home. So now, if they don't agree with you, and you're a person that actively seeks to actively work against them, they're planning on doing a home invasion to your home to remove you. Now, if you're going to invade my home, I'm going to assume that you're not there to just, punch me in the face. I'm going to assume that you're invading my home to do me some serious bodily harm, including killing me. I am not going to ask any questions. I am not going to tell you to get the hell out. I am going to start shooting. And I'm not going to be looking for body shots. It may, well, Rod, that's just evil. No, it's not evil. Anybody ever see the movie The Accountant with Ben Affleck? And I've mentioned this before. I was actually halfway entertained by it. I'm not a Ben Affleck fan. I'm really not. But I was halfway entertained by this movie. And I happened to like, because he was slightly autistic, Asperger's syndrome. So he was an accountant because, he was, autistic people and Asperger's syndrome people often have gifts. A part of their brain is often highly attuned, and he was highly attuned to math and accounting numbers. But at the same time, they also take their training very literally, and his character was trained by his military father to be a martial artist in order to take care of himself. Well, his character showed no mercy. He was a true, whether his father intended him to be an assassin or not, he was a true assassin. I mean, here's a guy in this movie who didn't double tap, but he triple tapped. Now, what does that mean? He put 3 bullets into somebody's head without hesitation. I mean, the double tap is usually, the single tap is usually something that the mafia did. Back of the head, boom, that's it. They didn't use, and then they started getting smart and started double tapping to make sure. Because a lot of times they were using smaller caliber bullets, and sometimes they would go straight through without doing much, in one end and out the other without doing much damage, and people survived. So they decided, we're going to start double tapping. Making sure that the brain got scrambled. And this guy did that in this movie. So, look, if you're going to come into my house, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to take a chance. I know a lot of people who would do the same thing. But to even need to talk about it in response to what these people are doing and saying, it says a lot about them. If you chant against abortion, well, somehow you're evil and you need to be shut up. And not only do you need to be shut up, but if you plan an anti-abortion rally, we're going to come into your house and possibly kill you. That's the left, folks. That's the left today. That's Antifa. I'm sorry, but, these people have just gone way too far, and it's no longer about a simple difference in ideology. Can I be the first ones to tell you that we didn't start it here on the right, but they declared it on the left? And when you claim that you're going to plan home invasions of people you disagree with, well, folks, that's just declaring war on somebody. And if you have a political view that you're utilizing in order to declare that war, that's now civil war.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face, sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Call Rod now, 603-835-3226. Lines are open.
Monday Night Football. Mike Ditka, the legendary player and coach, the Hall of Famer, has put it all out there on the line, talking about the kneeling protesters to the national anthem. I didn't watch Monday Night Football. Did anybody else watch it? I am serious. I was serious as a heart attack when I said I was done with the NFL until they get this whole kneeling protest crap fixed. I'm not watching a football game, something that's very American. I'm not watching a pro football game where these millionaires, these pampered baby millionaires, are going to act like little children and disparage the USA. No, I'm not going to support it. Not going to watch it. And frankly, I haven't missed it. So, I mean, I've heard that the Pittsburgh Steelers won over the weekend. That's great. But no big deal. And I'd forgotten, to tell you the truth, that last night was Monday Night Football. Because I'm not following it. But evidently there was, now last night was also, 9/11. The 16th anniversary of the terrorist attack during September 11th, 2001. New York, Pennsylvania, D.C. Everybody remember that, right? Yeah, I know there are a bunch of liberals who don't. So I don't know if any of them kneeled during the national anthem last night or not. I'm sure that there must have been some, but I'm not interested in following the NFL. And look, there are a lot of people who are feeling the same way. Evidently, tennis, was it the U.S. Open? Evidently, people are switching off the NFL and turning on tennis, pro tennis, because their numbers were up nearly 40%. I don't see any tennis players kneeling during any national anthem before a tennis match. Yeah, well, that's the truth. Personally, myself, it's like I know I'm probably going to step in it, but watching tennis to me is almost as bad as watching golf on TV. It's kind of boring. Well, I would even go to watch golf live. I might go to a tennis match live, but golf is just plain boring. I love it when they try to, when the golfer hits the ball and the camera tries to follow that little tiny ball. I mean, really? This is made for television sport? Yeah, I know there are a lot of people that like golf, but honestly, do you watch it on TV? Well, we haven't seen Tiger Woods in a while, so I don't know. I don't know. Would Tiger Woods kneel? Golf might be picking up again. Do professional golfers protest America before a golf match? Americans will be looking for alternatives to the NFL this fall. Who knows? You'll know it's some real stuff. Now pay attention to this. You'll know if the protest against the NFL, and the NFL needs to stand up and take notice of this, if the NHL's numbers increase once they start.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of French fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and always stay in the kitchen when cooking at high temperatures. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's gonna explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small.
You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound. It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Coffee, the more conservative you are. I don't know if that's true or not. I just thought I'd throw that out there. But if I were a liberal, I would insist that that's factual, without any scientific data whatsoever. Even if the scientific data proved it was wrong in my eyes, I would still say that the more that you love coffee, hey, I can prove it. I can just make fake models, right? Put in false data. It says the more you love coffee, the more conservative. You know what? If we actually started doing that, if we actually started spreading the rumor and saying that there's scientific data, if we can get some sort of emails released, leaked, that shows that those who love coffee the most are the most conservative, that might free up Starbucks and other coffee shops from all these liberal idiots. Just saying, they'll stop drinking our coffee. Anyway, welcome back. Hour number 2 here, folks, here on the Rod Eccles Show. I am, of course, your lovable host, L. Rod. Here it is, September number 12, the day after September 11th, the year of our Lord 2017. The call-in action hotline number is 603-835-3226. So welcome to all you liberty lovers and ecclesiastites worldwide that are tuning in, as well as all of you anti-liberty lovers, you Antifa, fascists, and you're the real fascists out there. You liberals. I know you're listening. Thanks for tuning in. Glad you're here. Maybe you'll learn something. You'll learn what we like to have secret meetings here on the air about conservative strategy. Yeah, we have this real secret strategy that we try to utilize on a daily basis here on the right, conservatives. Yeah, we just try to tell the truth daily. Yeah, so you on the left, now you know our secret weapon, which is the truth. Now you can try to use weapons against us on that. I know why. That's why you're listening. You're trying to find out the secret. Well, the secret is that simply we just like the truth. And the truth being this particular story, as I mentioned earlier, it is now racist to mention who looters are in Florida. Well, the Daily Mail, I don't know, is the Daily Mail a racist publication? It's in Great Britain. But Great Britain has let in a bunch of, brown people called Arabs into their country. So are British people racist? I don't know. I'm just asking the question. I really don't. I haven't heard any negativity from our left about the Brits. But they have a story here, At least 32 lead looters are arrested across Florida during Irma crime spree. Thieves even prompted a SWAT standoff after robbing a store for guns, while others were caught on camera breaking into a sports shop. Now, SWAT officers in Orlando detained one suspect after a standoff which began looters broke into Academy Sports trying to steal guns. Now, two groups of looters were caught on camera Sunday ransacking two separate sporting goods stores in the hurricane-hit South Florida. Yeah, we saw some of those. They were, in there to get some Air Jordans, I guess. Because hey, they're gonna need to have some swanky feet in order to repair all their flood-damaged properties, right? At least 8 people were filmed by an ABC crew breaking into Simon's Sportswear in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The group did so amid Hurricane Irma's destruction. Oh my goodness, it's terrible. These people are out there looting during a hurricane. Don't they have any shame? A Broward County's sheriff's deputy shot a teenager and arrested another after they allegedly broke into a home in the affluent suburb of Weston. Now, how much you want to bet that before all is said and done, this sheriff's deputy is going to be brought up on charges and is going to be, because the teenager is going to be, I don't know the details, but how much you want to bet that the teenagers are black? The neighborhood was white. The officer was white. So a white officer kills a black criminal thug teenager. We'll follow this story for you. But it's a Broward County Sheriff's deputy shot a teenager and arrested a second one after they allegedly broke into a home in the affluent suburb of Weston. Now, Fort Lauderdale police announced the arrest of two 28-year-old men who are alleged to have broken into 6 homes late Sunday night. Now, this is probably why a lot of people don't want to leave their homes. This is probably why a lot of people don't want to leave their homes because of looters. That's pretty sad. That's pretty sad to say. And these looters aren't all black, by the way. I think we've mentioned that before. But people don't want to board up and leave their homes and come back to find that they've been devastated, not by Mother Nature, but by people. That's pretty sad if you have to worry about your property that way. I mean, I know, I get it. I mean, better that you're safe and that you and your family are safe and alive because you can always replace things. But it still doesn't change the fact that it's pretty devastating that you can do what you're supposed to do to protect your life and property, only to come back and find that somebody, not Mother Nature, but somebody else has circumvented, is simply because they feel that they have a right to have your stuff. It's just, I mean, I know they put their lives at risk by trying to hang around and steal stuff from other people during an emergency like this, but people can suck. But liberals will try to protect people like that, by the way. I'm sure they'll be on this Broward County Sheriff's deputy. Before all is said and done, this Broward County Sheriff's deputy is going to be accused of being a bigoted, racist, overbearing police officer that shouldn't have shot. And we'll probably have video of it coming out. Now, I don't know if we do or not. But we'll probably have video of it coming out where the teenager is pointing something that looks like to be a gun at the officer, and the officer responds by shooting him, and the officer is probably going to be chastised. Well, you don't know if it's a gun, or you shouldn't have shot him. You should have waited till he shot at you first, type of thing. I mean, really, that's what it's coming down to. I mean, this is dumb. Now, people who listen to this program know I don't give cops a pass on everything. But look, when you raise your hands to anybody, I don't care if it's a guy with a badge or a guy without a badge, you raise your hand to me and it looks like a gun, I'm going to shoot first and ask questions later. And that's what cops do, and I have no problem with that. If they've got a gun pointed at you, you respond by saying, yes, sir. You don't respond by pointing, making a gesture and pointing like you're going to point a firearm at them, because what's their only recourse? Seriously. I mean, at that particular point, it's not, well, I have a right to move around if I want to. Well, if he's got a gun pointing at you and he's ordering you to do something, I think now is the time just to comply and get it over with. But don't make a threatening gesture back at him when they got a gun pointed at you. I mean, that's just asking for trouble. Sorry. I'm not going to defend anybody who points a gun or anything that looks like a gun at an officer who's pointing a gun at them. Just not that's just stupidity. Not going to defend it. The cop is going. If you make a threatening move towards an officer or anybody else, and you get shot in the process of making the threatening move, it is always going to be your fault in my book. If it's an honest and true threatening maneuver, where the average person will, and even a cop, will construe it as being a threatening maneuver, then you're going to get, and you get shot, your own damn fault. Sorry, I'm going to stand with the cop every time. I don't care how bad you think the cop is. You were being stupid. Can I just say that? Oh, Rod, you're just gonna protect the cop no matter what. No, I don't. But if you are going to make a threatening maneuver that looks like it's threatening to the life of the officer or other innocent people, that's your own dumb move. And anybody, badge or not, has a right to shoot you to protect themselves and innocent people around them. Understand that. I don't know. One of the things I don't understand is why we've gotten to this position, why all of a sudden that cops are not supposed to be human beings. Because they put on a badge, they're all of a sudden not supposed to be human beings. Well, they're trained better than that. Well, maybe. But they're still human beings. This anti-cop sentiment in this country really has to stop. By the way, speaking of terrible sentiments, it's official. It's official now. National debt tops $20 trillion for first time, jumps $317 billion in one day. Yes, indeed. That's what it says here. The federal debt officially surpassed $20 trillion for the first time on last week on Friday, as the debt subject to the legal limit set by Congress jumped $317 billion in one day, following President Donald Trump's signing of a spending and debt limit deal that will fund the government through December 8th. At the closing of business on Thursday, September 7th, according to the daily Treasury statement on Friday, the total debt of the federal government was $19,844,587,000,000. And the portion of it subject to the legal limit set by Congress was $19,808,747,000,000. After President Trump signed the legislation suspending the debt limit, the total debt immediately jumped to $20,162,177,000,000, and the portion of it subject to the limit jumped to $20,126,392,000,000, according to the daily Treasury statement for September 8th. Which means that the total debt jumped a total whopping $317,590,000,000 on the day it officially topped $20 trillion for the first time. Now, with that said, federal government debt jumps $300 billion, tops $20 trillion for the first time. And over in Houston, the mayor has a property tax hike proposal of 9%. Many Houston residents are dealing with flood-damaged homes and wondering how much it will cost them to get back to normal. On top of paying for repairs, the city of Houston may increase property taxes by 9%. The key is if the city council agrees with this, we should know tomorrow if the proposal will go forward. The current... You get hit by a hurricane in a... it is led by a Democrat. So you get hit by a hurricane, have to make repairs out of your own pocket, and what's the first thing a Democrat does? Oh, this is the best time to have a tax increase. Not only a tax increase, but let's increase the tax on the very thing that was damaged that you have to repair, and not only make it a small one, but let's make it a whopper, nearly 10%, because obviously the government can't do with less money, but you can, because you can afford to do with less, and the government can't. I'm 10%?
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
Hurricane Irma has done some major damage to the Caribbean islands, and that damage is going to be far greater than what is being currently told. And that is simply because of it's tourist season. Well, it's always tourist season in the Caribbean. Caribbean, tomato. But the other reason is according to this story, some 40 high-risk prisoners have escaped prison on the British Virgin Isles after Hurricane Irma. As islanders now fight over the last scraps of food, and evacuated tourists weep with relief that their hell is over. Yeah, it is. Can you imagine going on vacation and getting trapped in a powerful hurricane? And as I've mentioned before, the reason why it is so difficult on a lot of these Caribbean islands is because they don't have many, if any, natural resources. Everything really, literally has to, it's like Hawaii, just about everything has to be shipped in, has to be imported. They're little tiny islands. There's not a lot of land mass. So it's not like they can, they have acres and acres to grow food on, and acres to have industry, and acres to do all kinds of, there just isn't that available to them. Not to mention, they don't have the same technology and building codes as we do here. And a lot of times these homes are nothing more than basic shanties. Where people live outside of the tourist area. So there's some major concerns about what is going on in some of the Caribbean islands right now, and in British Virgin Islands, I guess there are some people that were criminals that have escaped. Well, and they can make it off the island. They may be able to make it off the island during rescue efforts, because who's gonna thoroughly check people who are trying to escape the island right now? I guess if they send down some TSA people. I got a story here about the TSA, by the way. Their enhanced pat down procedures. Yeah, evidently, the TSA has quietly launches its new enhanced pat down procedure, as well as its face recognition software in certain airports, like Boston Logan Airport. Yes. The TSA would not describe precisely how the new procedure is different from the old one, except there are people that are reporting that they're being touched in the private area as much as 9 times. Now, I'm sorry, but it's bad enough that you do it twice, and they try to explain it to you. Well, I'm going to pass over this area, with my hands flat, and now the back of my hand flat. Now, that's twice. They need to do it 7 more times? Why don't they just strip search you? I better not say that, because they probably will. But the enhanced pat-down involves a first-hand experience, no pun intended. Sunday evening, September 10th, this John McCormick, reporter, says he experienced it at a Kansas City airport. He said that he was basically touched in his private area 9 times. Now, at said particular point, I think I would have said, okay, you got to stop. This is ridiculous. Do you honestly suspect me of a potential crime here? If not, this has got to stop. You want to take me in a private room? You want to detain me? You want to question me? Fine, but this is going to stop. This is irrelevant. It's immoral. And I have railed against this stuff from the beginning, and I've had people say, "Well, it's not so bad, Rod. It's not. It's necessary." I told you it was going to get worse. We were going to let this get worse. And it's gotten worse. So are people who were originally for this still for this, or are they finally coming around and saying, maybe enough is enough here? You're going too far? I think they've already gone too far. Trust me, they haven't they've just gone too far. A grope too far. Coming.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Ah! Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye. I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? What's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents, which leads to millions killed in shelters each year. Turns out, those little cuties can get pregnant sooner than you think. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. When you bring home a pet, get them fixed at 4 months old. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event!
Promises to one's community.
Healthy people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late, we stay informed, we invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Hi, this is Kelsey Grammer. When military service members head into battle, none are expected to face the enemy alone, but many return home and become isolated as they struggle with the visible and invisible wounds of war. It can be difficult knowing how to overcome that challenge and rekindle bonds similar to those formed in the military. Wounded Warrior Project supports these injured veterans through their recoveries by connecting them with fellow warriors and their communities. No one should fight this battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Call Rod now, 666-603-835-3226. Can you imagine actually being in the storm and riding it out, or whether it be Harvey or Irma, and riding it out and surviving? Well, that's what's happened to a lot of marine animals. In fact, Florida now has to deal with crocodiles. Is there? Well, I still don't know the difference. Understand the difference between a crocodile and an alligator. There is a difference, but I'm not a marine biologist, so I don't really pay attention to the difference. They both are the same to me. But in any case, evidently, because of the hurricane washing the poor creatures up on land in places where they normally would not be, people have to be careful. The crocodile / alligator can be in the downtown area where they normally would not be, and they have been spotted in such areas, and they've even stopped traffic from flowing a little bit as they cross various streets or highways. So and I guess you really don't want to run over a croc. They're not like running over a little squirrel or something. They're a bit tougher than that, so and a lot bigger. But that's what's happening. I'm not sure exactly what I'd do if I saw that, crocodile walking, big old croc walking across the street, and normally where a croc is not normally seen. But there you have it. Floridians have what they, this is the problem with modern society. This is the problem with the modern society. Basically, Florida up until really recently, much of Florida was pretty. Now, if I remember my history correct, Florida was a terrible place, physically speaking, land-wise. Native Americans didn't fully inhabit Florida at the time because it was like a giant swamp. It was mosquito infested. It was hot and muggy, and even the Seminoles didn't really live deeply in Florida. It was a terrible place to be. But since modern times, when we've been able to control mosquitoes, fill in swamps, and build high rises, and then put in air conditioning. Florida was not exactly a great place. People didn't go to Florida. So man has been able to with technology, make Florida more habitable. And maybe, I'm going to say it, maybe it shouldn't have been. It's too late now, but maybe it shouldn't have been inhabited the way it is today. Yeah, well, I mean, the brief time I was down there, the couple of times, it was pretty hot and muggy. We're talking, May and September. Not exactly a fun time to be outside as far as I'm concerned. But hey, it's a great place to start a cruise vacation on. So people, by the way, if you're into big cruise ships, the Royal Caribbean line is about to launch the world's largest cruise ship next October, I do believe, October 2018. Because right now they have the Oasis and the Allure, which are the two of the biggest cruise ships in the world right now. And they're building a ship bigger than those two. I forget the name of it, but you could go to Royal Caribbean. They're not a sponsor of this program, but if you've never been on a cruise before, I would suggest that you don't go on one of these ships because you will be spoiled to death, and you'll get on a smaller ship and think, no fun. But I don't know what the cruising is going to be like for the rest of this year after this hurricane season, because what do they got? Hurricane Jose is spinning around out there in the Atlantic. It doesn't know which way it's going. It keeps moving around in circles out there, I guess. I don't know. But understand how all this system works. It can take a month for a storm to begin and cross the Atlantic because it begins somewhere off, the South African tip, South Africa, Cape whatever, the Cape over there, which is not, within the South African waters, basically. Not necessarily the country of South Africa, but the continent. Southern Africa is where our storms that end up being hurricanes over here really begin. And sometimes they don't make it. Sometimes they form into hurricanes and they go into the middle of the Atlantic north and they dissipate. Sometimes they spin back on themselves and dissipate, and sometimes they try to make it to landfall over here, and high pressures and jet streams push it north, and they hit Bermuda sometimes instead. But they all seem to begin over there. So I think if you want to stop hurricanes from being so devastating, you can't blame people in the United States because, hey, we're not over there in Africa. You got to blame those Africans. Whether they be black or white, you got to blame the Africans because that's where all the hurricanes start. So you got to put a weather net over there to stop hurricanes from even forming. That's where they form, right? Just saying. And I'm gonna get slammed for suggesting that it's Africa's fault that we have hurricanes. Well, if I'm just following the simple logic of the left and the environmentalist wackos, you gotta blame them. You gotta blame the Africans in the southern part of the continent. You gotta blame the Africans because that's where they begin. So I'm just saying, whether they be white or black, it's the Africans' fault that we have hurricanes here. If you're going to follow the logic of the lamestream left here on this side of the globe. Now, with that, does that mean that tsunamis are the fault of Californians? Where do those storms originate? I'm not in the Pacific, so I don't know. The typhoons and such that happen, not tsunamis, typhoons. The typhoons that happen over, because they're called hurricanes here, and the reason why they're called typhoons there because typhoons tend to be more powerful than hurricanes. They are. I mean, a typhoon can, where we get squeamish. Category 5, 180 miles per hour. That's like a Category 1 typhoon is like 180 miles per hour or something. I don't know how they classify typhoons, but they get to be pretty big and powerful. They're bigger and more powerful than hurricanes. I don't think the East Coast can handle a typhoon, to tell you the truth. I don't. But they handle them over there in Southeast Asia all the time. So, do they begin? Yeah, I'm asking a legit question. I don't know. We know where hurricanes. I know where hurricanes tend to begin, and that's in the warmer waters off the southern part of the African continent. I don't know where typhoons begin. I'll have to look that up. But when I look it up, I will use DuckDuckGo.com, not Google, because I'm sure if you look it up in Google, you're probably going to end up with a bunch of global warming theorist crap. Can I say I'm sick of Google? I am sick of Google. Here is a story. Well, getting back to the hurricane stuff, I know some people are probably tired of talking about hurricanes. it's either that or you talk about the secure. Well, it's kind of intertwined. Now we know that a couple of airports in Florida have been damaged, according to authorities. But this is what we're going to start seeing is more. How should we say? Intrepid searching on the part of our government on regular people, even when you're not suspected of doing anything. Even when you're not suspected of doing anything. Wait, what? I'm getting an answer in the chat room about typhoons. Typhoons also start on the southern coast of Africa? So hurricanes and typhoons originate in the same place. Well, if that's the case, then maybe we should eliminate the southern part of Africa. Think about it. If that's what, if hurricanes and typhoons both originate down there, that's a pretty dangerous place. Well, that's also where they often during Shark Week they're always in off the warm waters off the southern coast of the African continent for Shark Week, right? All kinds of sharks. It's just a very dangerous place. Sharknadoes, I guess, will happen there. I know where hurricanes begin there. I was just if typhoons also begin in that region and go the other direction, then maybe we need to think about eliminating human activity on the southern tip of Africa. I don't know where they start. Would we ever do that? No, because we can't even get rid of encroaching, intrusive pat down searches. We can't. Now, this is the story I was bringing to you before was from the Weekly Standard, and it's hands-on with the TSA's new enhanced pat-down procedure. Now, I don't know why what prompted this enhanced pat-down. They haven't prevented any sort of American-based terrorist threat or attack yet. Where does this all lead? Where is this coming from? Well, folks, as I have mentioned before on this program, this has nothing to do with security as it has to do with control. And I warned you before. Remember the guy who got into a little bit of trouble, although I don't know exactly what ended up of his case, but who said, "Don't touch my junk." Remember how all this got started? He said, "Don't touch my junk, bro." And the TSA agent got upset, and the cops wanted to talk to him, and he's like, "No, this is ridiculous. Look, I am flying in an aircraft here. Yes, that does not mean that I checked my constitutional or human rights at the airport door. Now, if there is a legitimate reason or excuse to do a certain kind of search on me, fine. But let's be honest here. We are seeing on a regular basis people who are of low threat or no threat being subjected and humiliated by these kinds of searches, while people who are more of a potential threat are being allowed through without any kind of searching whatsoever. Now, I don't know where that makes any sense in anybody's book. Hey, we're going to subject the button-down, a little white 10-year-old boy or 9-year-old girl to a pat-down like this, enhanced pat-down. But, hey, the person in a full burqa, we're going to let them go through easily without even touching them. I mean, I don't understand this. And understand something here. There's a lot of different. I understand there's a lot of different aspects to an airport, and I understand that airplanes can be used as missiles. They have been. And I understand that you don't have to fly. You can choose some other form of transportation. However, again, simply because you decide to utilize a certain mode of transportation does not mean that you check your constitutional rights at the door. It also doesn't make you safer, especially when they do not met out this sort of screening evenly. Now, I am not saying that they should not be protecting us and using certain ways of doing so, but when you go through a process over and over and over again that tests these sort of processes that they're utilizing, and we're catching them over and over again, overextending their authority by utilizing these processes and abusing their power, it makes one ask, is any of this really legitimate? The answer is, and we've been given the answer numerous times by TSA themselves, is no. But yet they keep coming out with more intrusive ways of screening us. And now they're talking about extending these things to other areas. Now, granted, most airports are owned by the municipality, i.e. government, but the airplanes are not owned by the government. But they're talking about extending these sort of tactics to train stations and bus stations. Again, train stations are probably usually owned by the municipality, usually the city. Bus stations, on the other hand, are not. They're typically owned privately. But they want to impose a government standard on a private enterprise. Is that legit? If these so-called enhanced pat-downs actually prevented anything, I would say then the argument would be for them. However, when the TSA is constantly being tested and they fail as much as 90% of the time, then you've got to ask, are they focusing on the wrong thing? Well, according to their own testing, the answer would be yes.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message.
A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. You know, there's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people, you suck.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Warning. Listening to the Rod Eccles Show by the Idiot Left may cause outrage, fear, a need for safety pins and/or spaces. If you experience any of these symptoms or are allergic to truth, tune in and learn something.
I think the real question here is how far does the government get to go utilizing the excuse that they're protecting us? Now, I'm being serious. And I now everybody who's listened to this show for any length of time knows that I have railed against the TSA's procedures as being ineffective and very intrusive for no reason whatsoever. And I've experienced this stuff firsthand, which just entrenches my belief that this stuff it needs to be changed. Even before I experienced it, I realized that there was a problem. There was going to be a problem. And then I experienced it firsthand, and now I know there's a problem. And the problem, a lot of times, is fostered by the TSA themselves. But how far does the government get to go? And how far will some Americans make excuses to allow the government to go as far as it does? And the reason why I ask is because a key U.S. surveillance law faces a congressional fight at the moment. Yes, the U.S. Justice and Intelligence Chiefs on Monday formally asked Congress to review a crucial surveillance law is setting up a battle with civil libertarians over a collection of Americans' personal data. Now, all of this comes to pass because of what? Because of the George W. Bush Patriot Act that was reinforced and strengthened by Obama. You know, this is the same Obama and the same liberals that railed against Bush and conservatives who, or well, not conservatives, but Republicans who helped pass the Patriot Act, which began all of this intrusiveness from our government. Now, before the government was, now make no mistake about it, our government was doing it anyway. They were doing it illegally. The Patriot Act made a lot of it legal because of the excuse that they gave. Well, it's to keep you safe because of terrorism. And then we find out that our government was collecting data even in this age of Patriot Act-ism, illegally still. So again, I ask you, how far are we willing to let our government go in order to keep us safe? How much freedom are we willing to give up and give our government the excuse to take from us in order to remain safe? Where does it end? Think about that for a second. Does it end at your driveway? I don't know. It's a question that we need to be asking, but we're not.
Today, there's a beer for everyone.
Hey, me and the guys are going out for beer. You want to come along? Nah, I got a lot of data to enter into the computer tonight.
Now, there's a brew for the future.
Want me to bring you something back? Thanks, but I got some right here.
Microsoft Brew.
You got a beer tap on your computer?
With a head so thick you can float a mouse on it.
Let me get this straight. You make your own beer with the computer? With the right software, you can do anything.
Microsoft Brew.
Here, I call this one Windows 95. I don't know, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
And if you gotta get there quicker, try the new ISDN malt liquor.
When I found out I had atrial fibrillation, a serious but highly treatable heart condition, the first thing I thought of was who would take care of my wife and children if anything were to happen to me? My doctor recommended Prevactin. I had a lot of questions, so I did some research. It turns out Prevactin is the #1 recommended drug for Crohn's disease. I think my doctor's trying to kill me and steal my wife.
Doctors. They'll stop at nothing to get your wife.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's gonna explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small. You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound.
It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals, because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Number 3, already the fastest 3 hours of Internet Talk Radio right here on the Rod Eccles Show. Glad that you are here, all of you liberty lovers and ecclesiastites all across the globe. The call-in number here this morning is the call-in action hotline is 603-835-3226. As we continue to discuss and not really debate, but discuss this this whole notion of enhanced TSA. Well, let me see if I can bring all of this around. Now, I understand the arguments for it. Trust me, I do. I understand the arguments of private versus public property. I understand all of that stuff. I've even looked at all that stuff. I've tried to argue within myself, well, this is this way and that is that way, you know, half a dozen of one and 6 of the other type of thing. But the reason why I say, now look, I'm going to give this example. Benjamin Franklin once famously said, or was it Benjamin Franklin? One of the founders, famously said that those who are willing to give up a little bit of freedom for a little bit of security deserve neither, and indeed will have neither. Now, here's the issue. We know that they use airplanes as missiles during September 11th, 2001, and that's where all this enhanced screening stuff came from at airports. And we used the justification that we needed to keep the airways safe because not only were people in the sky going to be put in danger, but people on the ground. Obviously. It was a wake-up call for the United States, and indeed the world. It was a wake-up call. However, there were plenty of people who already had the wake-up call that came earlier for them. In the 1970s, Israel got a wake-up call with terrorism and hijacking. And they developed systems that are far more accurate than ours. Now, I know some people are going to say that I am probably leaning too far to the left on this, but I'm not. I'm leaning far to the right. I'm probably leaning libertarian. Non-crazy libertarian, but libertarian anyway. And the reason is because as a society, we have to decide how much of our freedom we're going to give up to our government at any particular point in time. On anything. Now, I find it amazing that we have, that we can get all up in arms about the government tracking us on the internet. But we find it quite all right for them to grope us in an airport. But if you ask people, should they bring the TSA tactics to the bus station or the train station, those same people will say, well, hell no. Why not? I'm saying that there are better ways that are less intrusive to protect flying passengers and those in the ground. And we as Americans are not willing to look at those ways. We have better ways of screening people than these naked X-rays machines. We do. The entire world does not utilize the same system that we use, but they've had far more success at preventing terrorism in the skies than we have. That's all I'm saying. As a society, are we willing to give up, and how far are we willing to go? Are we willing to say, because, an airport itself is owned by the municipality, government. The airlines or airplanes are not. But the government has said that if you're going to use this kind of airport, now understand that there are smaller airports that are owned by government as well as we call those municipal airports, as well as airports, private municipal airports. But only the major airports go through this stuff, not the smaller ones. And definitely not the private ones. So are we really enhancing our security by leaving some of them out? And are we really protecting our flying passengers, like myself, when the TSA fails its own testing some 90% of the times at some of our major airports? Is that really good for us? Is it really making the skies safe? Now, some people will say, well, it makes people feel safe. Yeah, but those people who got on those airplanes on September 11th, 2001 also felt safe. Your feelings are irrelevant. I don't know how many times I've said that in this program. The reality is that the TSA has proven that their own tactics are worthless. So if they've proven that their own tactics are worthless, does it make them viable? And should we subject ourselves to them and allow ourselves to be subjected to them? And if we're going to use the argument, well, it's government owned, well, we the people are the government, for one. Well, how far do we take that? Do we then decide, well, if you're going to drive your car, and we've gotten, I don't know how many court cases that have said that, you have certain rights when driving your car, even on a public roadway. Should we get rid of those rights too? Should we get rid of all your rights once you enter public property? Now, understand, you can't get anywhere without utilizing public property once you leave your own property. So are you not secure in your own person? Does the Constitution, simply because it does not say that you get to, simply does not mention airplanes, then it doesn't cover airplanes or airports? Just like they've utilized the excuse to over-regulate driving by saying the Constitution does not guarantee you get to drive, it is a privilege. Well, when we start tearing apart the Constitution that way and limiting, then it's very easy to take it apart and lose all of our freedoms. We have the same argument going on right now with things that our government does by utilizing, and our government is saying, well, this is public knowledge or public airwaves, intercepting your phone calls, your cell phone calls, and storing them. You know, you're out in public, so they can photograph you anywhere, anytime, anyhow, and store that information. They can track your internet use is public knowledge, right? They can track it and keep that and store that information. How far are we willing to go? I mean, is it going to come down to a point where, and I'm being honest here, I'm being frank, this is a discussion that we do not have on a national or even a local basis. What exactly does the Constitution cover? And if anything public, like an airport, can be eliminated, can then anything public be eliminated? So the only place you're going to be secure is your own private property. But if that property happens to be on wheels or you're in public, does that private property, i.e. your car, now be subject to government rules and regulations that take away your rights? Because that property is now on public property. I mean, again, how far are we willing to go? How much are we willing to give up? It's a question that we as a society better have a serious conversation about. If there aren't better methods of keeping us safe, then we don't have a choice, then, do we? But if there are better methods, then why would we not choose those better methods over the lesser methods? Especially if the better methods protected your privacy and your rights better than the lesser methods. It's kind of like, yesterday I mentioned this, we have the ability to armorize our power grid, but we choose not to do so. And so every time we get a tornado or a hurricane or a windstorm, thunderstorm, snowstorm, we go through the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And we come out with the same conclusion. Now, we get to this, we rehang the electric grid, we rehang the wires, another storm comes in and knocks it all down, then millions and millions of people are without power. And then what do? Well, we got to restore power. So we hang the wires back up again. They're still vulnerable as they were before, and the next storm comes through and knocks them all down. And we don't seem to get tired of doing this over and over again. And so then we go into an airport with the TSA. The TSA has averaged a failure rate, and this is public knowledge, 80 to 95% of the time during their testing. So how do they get by with trying to fix their problem? They enhance their security measures on the law-abiding person, and yet they still fail the test. So it's like hanging up the stupid wires and not expecting another hurricane never to come along and blow them back down again. There are better methods, and we're not even exploring them. Instead, we're taking bad methods and making them worse. Instead of taking and burying every new development that we have and burying the lines and armorizing, what do? We put up new telephone poles. And then those new ones get blown over. Why do we keep doing the same old, ineffective things? Oh, but Rod, we came up with better telephone poles now. Now, of course, we have these. We have an enhanced telephone poles. And yet a good strong wind comes along or an old tree still falls over on them and brings down the lines. I'm sorry. In my book, if something doesn't work or it's ineffective, then you have to find a better, more effective way. And you are not going to tell me, well, you know what? We're going to put up these high tension lines by your property because the wind is less near your property. It's still going to blow over, isn't it? The wind is not going to discriminate. So why do we utilize methods in trying to keep us safe in other areas of our lives that are totally discriminatory? And oftentimes, we eliminate those people who we should be focusing on the most because we don't want to be construed as being discriminatory. So the innocent, well, let me just put it in these terms then, so Antifa can understand it. Instead of focusing on the teenage to 20-something-year-old Arabic man walking through the airport with sunglasses on and acting suspicious, we want to focus on the 9-year-old blonde-haired, blue-eyed child. Because, hey, that would be non-discriminatory, but focusing on that teenage to 20-something-year-old Arabic man who with sunglasses on who's acting highly suspicious, oh, that would be discriminatory. Do you see why I say this stuff doesn't work? It's like putting wires back up in the air in Hurricane or Tornado Alley and expecting them to stay up during the next storm.
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
The sex robots are coming to a store near you. Maybe Ted Cruz needed to know this beforehand. I'm understanding that something has happened on Twitter with Ted Cruz and porno and masturbation, and as I said before, it makes him appear to be like a real human being and not a robot. One of the things about Ted Cruz is people always, and my complaint about Ted Cruz has always been that he's always seemed to be over-rehearsed in everything that he says and does. And this was one thing that he did not, that he obviously did not rehearse, at least overly so. But in any case, the world's first sex robot, Samantha, has made her first live TV appearance. Sex robots are already becoming big business, and Samantha's hyper-realistic and sexy appearance caused shock to a pair of anchors on This Morning. Yes. Now, you could probably say, well, that's funny, right? Sex robots. Well, yeah, I know. We can go to all kinds of, We've been warned about robots, I don't know how many times, in various ways, in various movies and television programs, by various types of people, both right and leftists, right and left writers, fiction writers. We've been warned about giving AI, artificial intelligence, to these things. And now we're starting to get them. We've been told. Look, the funny thing is that through all this dystopian types of novels and movies and television programs, and people say that this stuff is just fiction, Rod. It's just somebody's imagination. Well, the problem is that when we start lining up reality today and how we've gotten here, it starts to line up with all this fiction that we say is just fiction, and it's not going to become reality. Well, it is. It's becoming reality, and it's becoming reality in the way that those wonderful authors of the books, of the TV series, of the movies say it's going to be. Now, do we really want to continue down those dystopian roads? I'm just asking the question. So we have the sex robots now making an appearance, and they look frighteningly realistic. Now, here's the problem. You can say that they're harmless. Oh, but they're not harmless. Because the New York Post has a story that really goes deep into this, and that's not a double entendre. That's no pun intended. Hackers can program sex robots to kill. Look, I had a story here about, the scientists being able to hack a human brain and forcing you to do things, your body to do things that you don't want it to do. And they're only going to get better at it. Well, now they're also talking about hacking sex robots. Now, we've had this in movies telling us Robots can be programmed to be assassins without people even knowing. You know, the Jetsons, Rosie, can be hacked and programmed to murder an entire family. Can assassinate them. Well, now cybersecurity scientists have issued a bizarre warning stating that sex robots could be hacked and utilized to kill their owners if hackers are capable of reprogramming them. I'm not making this stuff up, folks.
You might be surprised to learn who has Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. Nearly 1 in 200 Americans are suffering with a debilitating pain and constant disruption of these inflammatory bowel diseases, or IBD. Chances are you know someone with IBD. For example, your neighbor or coworker. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation was created to help patients cope and to find a cure. People with IBD can't wait. Won't you help someone you know? Visit www.escapethestall.com today.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. But most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? Shifting to a system based on primary care can help fix the problem. Patients with a primary care doctor live longer, healthier lives and are less likely to suffer from cancer, heart disease, or stroke. Primary care that is comprehensive and coordinated also saves money. Patients who have a primary care doctor spend 30% less on health care than patients who don't. States with a high number of primary care doctors have lower health care costs and higher quality care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
It's been called shell shock, war neurosis, and battle fatigue. Today, we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it affects 1 out of every 5 warriors returning from battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Wounded Warrior Project offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
The Amazon's rainforest is being cut down so fast that by 2030, 55% of it could be completely wiped out. The Earth's forests can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey.
Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye? I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
Some people are out there thinking, Rod, you're just anti-technology, aren't you? No, not at all. I am highly pro-technology. I like technology. I like technological gadgets. Sometimes I feel I was born too soon, that I should have been born at a time when we could freely explore the stars. If I were young enough and we had the technology, I'd want to go to Mars. Why not? To me, that would be fun. Explore the rest of our own galaxy, get in a spacecraft. That would be fun in my book. I don't think we'll be able to do warp speed like Star Trek does, but there's a new dramedy, I guess, on Fox. I caught it last night. The Orville. It was Seth MacFarlane. Episode number 1 looks promising. Got to admit, it's got some funny spots in it, but it's not what I was expecting. It could be a hit. I mean, I know MacFarlane has stumbled lately on some of his stuff, but this could be a hit for him. But I fully embrace technology if we at first really fully understand it and know how to utilize it. Because otherwise, maybe we're going to end up what was that Bruce Willis movie where everybody had an avatar out there and didn't leave their homes? That's what we're getting to the point of actually being. Nobody actually venturing outside of their homes or off their property. So they're going to have to send an avatar to do all this stuff, or their servant robot. And if you do that, will these servant robots eventually rise up against us? Will these avatars rise up again? I realize that is so far in the future. We like to think so. But Rod, all that stuff will probably happen, in our great grandchildren's day, not in our day. Well, do you want your great grandchildren to have to face that? I'm just asking. I don't have answers for a lot of this stuff. I never claimed that I do. I don't know it all. But these are conversations that either we don't have or refuse to have. And we can't come up with solutions and answers if we don't talk about it. So do we want robots to be this lifelike, like in these sex robots? And what happens if they are? How are we going to secure them in such a way where they cannot be turned against us? Now, it's not just this. Now, understand that these scientists are warning us that sex robots can be hacked and programmed into being assassins, but it's not limited to them, obviously, is what they're telling us. I mean, look, we know that some automobiles are more easily hacked than others. Your automobile could kill you if somebody were to get control of the steering systems, and we have those. I mean, we have cars that steer themselves and brake themselves and park themselves. Could they not be programmed or taken over to run you off the road or a cliff? They could. But should we run around scared of this stuff? No, we should not. Should we embrace this technology if it helps us? Yes, we should. But should we also figure out how to make it as secure as possible and figure out laws and actual good laws and regulations that will help protect us? Yes, we should. But we can't do that unless we have serious public conversations about this stuff. That goes from airports to your driveway, and from your driveway to the bus station, and from the bus station to your office. It doesn't matter. Our society is inundated with machines everywhere. Our society is inundated with people everywhere of different faiths, of different beliefs. You know, we want to have a sane and safe society. I do. But at the same time, how far are we willing to go to get it? Are we willing to hunker down in our own homes where we never leave in hopes of staying secure? How free are we at that point? Well, we're not free. We're prisoners of our own society, of our own quote unquote success. We have no liberty. We have no freedom. And if we're trapped inside our house, are we really all that safe and secure? And what happens to people who live in major cities? I don't have ready answers to all of society's potential ills. But logic would dictate that we as a society start discussing these things that we refuse to discuss right now. We don't have any, and oftentimes we often laugh or chastise people who want to have a conversation about this stuff, and we shouldn't do that. So what is it about modern society that has, I believe that some people are so frightened on both sides of what's coming, that you got some people are so frightened that they think, well, why even bother talking about it? It's just going to happen anyway, so let's not talk about it. And you've got people that are so frightened on the other side that want to ban everything. Well, neither of those extremes are going to work. Neither of those extremes are going to work. There's a happy medium somewhere. And I think as a society, as a species, humans, we got to figure this out, because before we take it anyplace else. Because, we've got, certain scientists telling us that we need to, Stephen Hawking, that humans are going to need to leave the planet at some point within the next 100 years or so. Well, if we don't figure out a lot of this stuff before we leave, then we're only going to be taking if it's at a point now where we're on the course of self-destruction on this planet. Well, if we leave the planet without figuring out a lot of this stuff, are we not only just taking the devil with us? Yeah, we'll be just taking the devil with us, and we're going to destroy another planet and ourselves on that planet and have to look for another one. So this is the kind of stuff that has to be figured out before we leave. Before we start colonizing. Now, I believe that at some point that it's not going to be science fiction, it's going to be science fact, where we're going to colonize both the moon and Mars. I think we can do it. In fact, I know we can do it. But there's a lot of stuff we got to figure out before we do that. Or else we're just going to be spreading our problems on other planets. That's definitely not a good idea. And let's face it, if we did that, and there are aliens out there that are watching us, do you think that they would allow our shortcomings to infect a galaxy? It's one thing for our own solar system, but do you think they would have let us? Would they have to eliminate us? I know some people are thinking, well, geez, now Rod's going down the road of what's his face over there, and geez, now I can't think of his name. The conspiracy, Alex Jones. Now he's going down the road of Alex Jones. No, I'm just being logical with this stuff. We've seen where humans have come from. We've seen where our species has come from. We've seen what we've done throughout history to this point. We've seen the excuses that we've used up to this point to allow certain evils or wrongs to continue. We've seen it. The question is, will we allow it to continue going forward? Or will we bury our heads and think that technology will just save us without actually figuring out how best to use that technology? You know, we've got these smartphones. Now, nobody ever would have thought when the first iPhone came out that government would be grabbing our information off of our smartphones and storing it. Nobody thought of that. Well, obviously somebody did think of it because they did it. And they did it shortly after the iPhone appeared and smartphones started to appear. But we didn't have a conversation about how to secure these things and and how the information was going to be used. And now we're finding ourselves having to deal with this without still having a proper conversation. So if we keep developing stuff without having a conversation on how best practices and how to use it, we're going to keep ending up losing our freedom over it. I mentioned the other day we had this whole break-in with Equifax. And I kept saying we've got to come up with a better system or a better way of dealing with our credit aspect of our economy. Because if a company like Equifax, which is in charge of or holds credit information like that, can be hacked, then nobody's safe. And you know the feedback I got from that? Well, it's too late. It's too late to change it? Why are we not even just talking about it? Oh, it happens. Get over it. No, I don't want to get over it. Because it shouldn't be happening. But these are things like this that completely and totally engulf and affect our civilization, our society, and nobody seems to want to talk about it. Nobody seems to want to do something that's better. Nobody seems to want to take on the challenge of improving or inventing something new. As a matter of fact, got a story here where now I don't know if it's better or not, but now we've got countries we've got governments that are shutting down alternative currencies. Bitcoin is now going to be illegal in China. Now, I don't know if you're a Bitcoin fanatic or not. I'm not a Bitcoin fanatic. I don't fully understand Bitcoin, but what I do understand about it, I'm not down with it. But there are people that are. But now there are people that are so frightened of it, instead of having a conversation about it and how to make it better or how to integrate it, they ban it. Don't get me wrong, in this country, do you realize that we have over-regulated Bitcoin in this country because somebody in government decided that that's what should happen without discussing it? They just went ahead and started pushing forth regulation and legislation. So Bitcoin is not what it used to be. Are there better ways of doing all of this? I know that there are. But we've got to stop burying our heads in the sand and saying, well, there's nothing we can do about it. Because obviously there is, because if we create it, then we should be able to control it. Otherwise, we might as well stop creating new stuff. Just a thought, folks. I'm definitely not anti-technology or anti-safety. I am pro all of those things. But are we utilizing them, all of that stuff, to the best of our ability? Or are there better ways? Nobody seems to want to discuss or even come up with better ways, because the old ways seem to be the only ways. And if the old ways don't work, well, it's obviously then it's too late to change anything, right?
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
That Bruce Willis movie I was talking about is called Surrogates, where he played a cop having to deal, being a police officer in a society that that mostly is a bunch of robotic avatars or surrogates that roam the streets. And this is a 2009. I don't think it did that well at the box office, but it's a 2009 thriller. And I didn't see. I think it was on HBO when I tried watching parts of it. I didn't watch the whole thing, so I'm not exactly sure how far this thing goes. But in any case, what is wrong with Nancy Pelosi? I believe that she's. And I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose, so I don't know the exact symptoms of dementia or Alzheimer's or any other age-related mental disorder, but there's something probably age-related wrong with her. She orders LGBT group to clap for Obama and then laments, and I quote, the bulleting of youth, of the youths. And this is not, you could, if this were just a one-off thing with her, with anybody, you'd pass it off. Maybe they were tired. It's just one-off. No big deal. But this seems to be every week we have something coming. She's doing something or saying something bizarre. I mean, you people in California, you guys, you've got to, you're in control of this right now. She's up for re-election, obviously, in 2018. It's time for you people in California, in her district, to retire her. Because she's obviously not going to do it herself. I mean, she's announced that she's running for re-election. So it's time that you retire her. I understand you want the person that you want to represent you, but it's not fair to foist an incompetent person on the rest of the nation. I mean, honestly. I'm sorry to say, I mean, and it's sad. You don't want her to be embarrassed, do you? I mean, as much as I disagree with Nancy Pelosi, as much as I dislike the Valley Girl, if you want to save her legacy, you need to replace her. Because otherwise, I think during her next term, if she's reelected in 2018, she is really going to lose it, and they're going to have to remove her from office. It's going to happen. Why would you want to embarrass anybody like that when you have the ability to save them from themselves? Seriously. Also, face reading AI, artificial intelligence. Remember when I brought you the story, I think last week, about artificial intelligence being able to predict with some extent of accuracy whether or not via a picture a person is gay or straight. Being able to predict via a picture that a man 81% of the time is, with 81% accuracy that a man is gay, or 74% accuracy that a female is gay. Well, now we've got some more AI. AI face reading will be able to detect your politics and your IQ, so says a professor. So I guess the notion there are some people that look stupid. Well, I guess according to AI, you really could be stupid. And it'll be able to predict how stupid you are or how smart you are and what your politics are. Look, we've already known that there's supposed to be some brain chemistry things about people who are liberals versus conservatives, which leads me to think that maybe liberalism really is a mental disorder and it can be fixed at some point with a pill. But will people want to be cured? And if they are cured, will their face change? I don't. So, yes, voters have a right to keep their political beliefs private, but according to some researchers, it won't be long before a computer program can accurately guess whether people are liberal or conservative in an instant. All that will be needed is a photo of your face. So all those wonderful, hey, go to the airport where they're going to use facial recognition stuff in order for you to get on certain international flights in some airports. They'll be able to tell if you if you are a conservative or liberal. I wonder if they'll use that for the TSA to determine whether or not you should be enhanced in your search of your body. So will conservatives be more subjected to enhanced TSA groping, or will it be liberals? Stay tuned. Until then, we'll be back here tomorrow, the Intel Report. Have a great Tuesday afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Rod Eccles. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Left dogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain what, why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled. and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For Clinton, what's loaded in some fat Apple file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.